Spoken Joe Gamer on Twitch.tv, YouTube, Mastodon, etc. Today we're playing Resident Evil 2. This is episode 3 of Spooky HallowSTREAM. Woo! And this is the GameCube version, which is the best one. And it's running on Dolphin with some enhancements, so I think this is going to work out just fine. Now, I always like to check the stream, make sure it's working. It appears to be. And shouldn't have any internet problems today, so yes, this is episode 3. Now, episode 2 was Resident Evil Director's Cut, the newest version that's on PS5 now. And I played that for about 90 minutes. I killed the snake, I got the emblems, and I was like, I don't want to keep playing this. I've played the remake so many times that it makes the original even harder, and I don't know where things are. And I realized I don't really like the rest of the game. The first part in the mansion, that's the best part of the game, in my opinion. After that, it's just things get weird and difficult, especially when the hunters show up. So I thought, let's just move right along to Resident Evil 2. Now, last year, I did RE1 Remake as Jill, and then did RE2 Remake as Claire. So this year I thought, let's do Chris in the original and Leon in the second game. This I'm hoping to get through. And this is just Leon's A scenario. Unfortunately, I don't have much experience with the B scenarios, and I know that they can be very difficult, especially when you have the tyrant chasing after you. So, that's fine. And, I mean, I used to do some speed runs. I didn't stream any of it, but I used to be able to speed run Remake 1 and 2 and 3. And the GameCube version is just one disc, which is nice. And then you have the arranged game, but yeah, and then easy is just really easy. So we're doing normal. Now earlier today I was practicing, seeing if I could make it to Brad Vickers, and I couldn't do it. Like, the rule is you can't pick up any items on the way to get to him. But that means that you're either going to be out of bullets or out of health or both by the time you reach him, because there's a lot of zombies. And then he's a very strong zombie too, so you pretty much end up having to kill him with the knife, and that's just a pain in the ass. And the reward is you get a key that opens a closet, get an alternate costume, but it's really not worth it though. There's a lot of bullets you can pick up on the way to the station, plus the shotgun. Alright. I'm going to skip most of the cutscenes probably just to get through this a little quicker. But I know both of the A scenarios pretty well. I just don't know the B scenarios very well. And I do recall playing Tofu mode at one point. So as with a lot of these old games, I always just want to try to get people to understand just what a big deal this was when it came out. Like, you don't even know. So I'm not going to try to do Brad. Just going to pick up some bullets instead. Because just think about it, though. Back in 1996, Capcom was a household name, right? They made DuckTales, they made Mega Man, they made Street Fighter, right? We all knew who Capcom was by the time the PlayStation came out. But when, companies release brand new properties, it's like they don't always take off right away. So I remember Resident Evil becoming a big deal, but I don't know how long that actually took. And I didn't have a PlayStation. I was also 10 years old back in 96, so I only got to play the first one when I was hanging out with like cousins and stuff. Although the second game was playable on N64. I think I remember renting it and playing that version of it at some point. But so when they announced Resident Evil 2, at that point there was a lot more hype. At that point, I may have actually had access to the internet, you know, and it was like, okay, yeah, it's going to be 2 characters again. But then when you find out that it's 2 discs and there's 4 different scenarios, it's like, whoa, hold on, that's a big deal. And it's a better game. There's some quality of life improvements, like when a zombie grabs you, you can mash buttons to shove it, and it'll fall, and sometimes it'll knock into other zombies and knock them down. Then you also have the lickers, and the first game, you know, most of us didn't really see the later parts of the game, right? Because unless you owned the game, you weren't going to be able to play that far, and it was a tough game too. So I didn't see anything beyond that first mansion part until years later. And when this came out, it was like, oh, hold on a second. Like, I'm outside and the city streets, what? And then you're in the police station, and I was like, well, how's that going to work? And they made it work. And then you got William coming after you, and then you had Ada and Sherry, and it's like, it was a big deal. Seriously. So now once I go back here, you're going to see what happens next. And that is the end of Robert Kendo. Okay, so I got grabbed once, but it was worth it to get that shotgun. So let's keep going. So the GameCube version running on Dolphin, you can see I added some anti-aliasing, texture filtering and stuff that really only affects the character models. But there's also just less Alright. Alright. So there we go. So I remember buying Resident Evil 3 on the GameCube, expecting it to have better graphics, and it didn't. It's like, oh man. And the N64 version of this, I don't know how they squeezed that onto a tiny cartridge, but they did, and that version, you could like change the blood color and stuff, and I'm told there's a randomizer. So I also loaded up the PS1 version using PCSX Rearmed on RetroArch, and the sound quality is not as good, and there's like minor like stutters going from one screen to the next. Yeah. So in this first part of the game, you don't want to spend too many bullets. Just knock them down and run past them. And as with the first game, you have important decisions to make about which zombies you want to kill and which ones you want to just knock down. If there's a room that you don't think you're going to have to go back to, then don't bother killing everything. It's a waste of bullets. But if there's a hallway that you're going to be going through a lot, you might want to just take them out. And this is where Brad Vickers would be if I didn't pick up any items. Alright. First, we gotta go talk to Marvin. Skip. Marvin gives us the key card that we need, and when you do eventually get into that room, he has been zombified and he will attack you. So, there we go. And as with the RE1 video, I might create some save states here and there, but I'm going to try not to use them. I might create them, like right now I'm going to create one just in case the game crashes or stream goes down or something. So, no. I'm just going to go, alright, I can do that. Sorry about that. Okay. Good. Well, gee, maybe it's a good thing I did that, because I might have just crashed the program. Ah! What is going on here? Well, that's weird. Alright. Maybe it's a good thing I did that because it just crashed. Hang on. Oh, there's always technical issues. Wow, this is completely unresponsive. Okay. You've got to be kidding me. Really? It just did that thing where you have to fucking log out. It's doing that thing where I can't look at the task manager. Of course not. Alright, hang on.